That's funny. I never heard like when they.
Oh,
start
yeah.
recording.
Because we started. I don't think it plays on y'all side. Can somebody give me a towel for my hands out of that drawer? We're ready. Easy peasy. How many people y'all think gonna show up on Zoom?
One.
3.5.
Hi.
Never had one.
Oh, it's not. You're gonna be like, oh, okay. That's the same thing we do every other facial.
Yeah, I'm sure.
No different. All we're gonna replace is the exfoliant.
Mhm.
So I'm gonna show you the protocol for if you were doing a light or a medium, so that you can do a light, a medium, or a deep.
Okay.
Those 3 variations are still within the esthetician's realm of depth of appeal. So what is it, like 40% or higher acid that it's a physician? So just because I'm saying light, medium, or deep, I'm saying an esthetician's version of light. That's going to correlate with the number of passes and what you do with it. So light and medium is basically a regular facial. If I was doing a deep
Mhm.
peel, it would just be a cleansing, prepping the skin, peel, send them home. SPF max. But with a light and a medium, we're using very low percentage of acid. We're going to do the full thing for light. But it really just depends on the client itself. So I'm just going to show you the process of applying the product. And then I have an assignment that I'll email out to you guys to work on for some of that background information if you haven't gotten it already. 4 minutes and we will start. I'm going to go in with the regular cleanse while we're waiting for the rest of our crew. If anybody hasn't seen this before. I'm sure my hands are cold. products after this? I know all of you know.
Your second part.
Before that,
I know.
go ahead.
Yeah, skin.
Skin analysis. How do we know what peel to use? How do we know what protocol to follow? We've got to determine what's going on with this particular person. And it is 1:05 on the dot. No one's here, so yay. Okay, so skin analysis, just as a quick review, so we can go through hers. Texture, tone, skin type, any skin conditions. Texture, how it feels, very soft skin. It actually feels very hydrated. Do you drink a lot of water?
I do, yeah.
It feels like she drinks a lot of water. See that? That's elasticity. We know she still has it. Useful skin. She was older or hadn't been taking care of her skin, a smoker. That time that it goes from here to down would slow down. So texture, really, really smooth. She has a little bit of texture in the cheeks. A little bit across the top of the forehead. Tone, overall the tone is good. It's fairly even, and I'm not talking surface color. So I'm not talking about like consistency throughout. I'm talking about the undertone. Is it yellowing? Is it looking dull? It's not dull, but it's on the duller side. She doesn't have a lot of shine to it, which I think after really good hydration from topical products and after an exfoliation like the chemical peel, she's going to see a difference in her skin tone overall. As far as skin type, you're going to look at the follicle size itself. Her follicle seems to be small to medium. A little bit of dryness in here. I would probably say overall, without knowing lifestyle background factors, I would say she's normal to combination. She's got a little dryness here, and a little oiliness here, which is where to be expected. But I wouldn't say overall she's very oily, and I wouldn't say overall she's very dry. So if I had to categorize her, I'm going to say normal until her skin shows me otherwise. What is your skin type? Do you know
To me, it's dry, especially in the mouth area
it?
and the forehead. Right here is like the only spot I'll get oils, is right there.
What type of products do you use at home?
Peach and Lily. I use her whole line.
Is it for oil, dry skin?
Mm-hmm.
How does your skin feel after you use it?
Soft and moisturized.
Follicles are not very large, so normal to dry. She has a tendency to be a little drier, but she's not overly dry. She's not overly oily. Even in here, she has very little oil. It's not dehydrated. You can tell by feeling into it. So combination normal to dry, very little dryness, but she definitely can use a little hydration. So with that in mind, we're gonna go with the glycolic for her. And we're doing light to medium, so we're gonna go with probably 4 to 6 minutes total with the peel itself, and then we'll do the rest of the products. If we were doing deep in terms of ours, we would do the full 10 minutes that it allows on the bottle. And then we would probably not go into the other things like the mask and things like that. For her, I don't think she needs a deep peel. The goal for her would not be to take the skin to actually flake off. The goal for her is really to allow the product that we put on after to penetrate better. So in her case, unless we're trying to correct the scarring, she would need a deep peel. She needs something that's going to help her skin's barrier function, her cells turn over, and allow those follicles to be unobstructed so that we can pump as much nutrients, serums, moisturizers into her skin as possible. That makes sense, everybody. We're on the same page with that. Okay. So from there, this light would have normally been off, so I'm going to turn it off. From there, I'm going to put on my gloves. Oh, actually, I don't need them yet because we're going to do our second cleanse. So we'll do our second cleanse, and then we're going to go in with our gloves and prep the skin for the peel itself. So I see people will do the facial and they'll have a problem with these. Typically, I'll leave them and just kind of knock them off when I get to the eyes. But if you know that they bother you, take them off in the beginning. I'm just spreading the product. One hand away. Emulsify the rest of that product. Catch any drips and then cleanse. I'll rub from my nails right now. Sorry. Probably scratching a mess on it because I know they're ragged enough. She had a little congestion in the nose. We didn't talk about conditions for her skin nails. She had a little congestion in the nose, just some blackheads that we'll try to get out with the peel itself. If the peel doesn't take them, we'll go ahead and extract. Only time you can extract after a chemical peel is very, very small areas, spot treatment. If it doesn't come off after that come out after that first pass, leave it, and only with a light to a medium. If you're doing a deep peel, you do not want to go back in and exfoliate. Also not gonna need steam. Just the light. Would have went in with a hot towel. Don't have those, so we'll use this poncho.
When you do higher grade peels, would you use a hot towel?
Before, yes. After, no. But I would honestly say the best answer is go with the manufacturer of the peels recommendation. Because I know there's some peels like PCA where you would not use a hot towel at all. Some peels like Rhonda Allison, you wouldn't use a hot towel at all. But it really depends on who's making that peel. Everything that we have here, you can't mess it up. It's very light. It's intended for you to be able to mess up without damaging the client's skin. Favorite thing to do, put on gloves after wetting my hands. It's fun for me.
What size do you need, Craig?
It doesn't matter. You can grab me a medium. That was a large and they still broke. Want to see a trick? Thank you. This is definitely not the same size ball.
When I just gave you the large.
Yeah, love that for me. Client's eyes are covered. We're gonna bring that light back on away from them, bringing it over. I apologize. Now look at the difference. She's still flinched. From here. Hi, we're about to bring a very bright light over you. Your eyes are covered. Just keep them closed. If they begin to bother you, just let me know. Like literally 2 seconds of courtesy will deeply impact how your client feels about the process. So we have a couple of options here as far as prepping the skin. The options that I want to go over are the Peel Prep Solution. These are chemically formulated to work with the products that we have based on the lab that made our products, right? So you wouldn't use this with another line. This is specifically manufactured for our products, but it is a peel prep solution, which essentially starts to lower the pH, which is all that a chemical peel is doing, so that the skin can start that cellular turnover. Chemical peeling is essentially controlled. What is it? I don't want to say damage, but controlled trauma to the skin. We're using the acid to trigger that cellular turnover, lower the pH so that the skin will turn over so that they have new healthy skin cells, remove any surface dirt and debris, oil, so that the products penetrate better. So controlled trauma to the skin, in order to control that and monitor how low you take it, you're going to use a prep solution. So the peel prep solution is a great way to go. You can use acetone or alcohol. What is it? The most drying is going to be the acetone. Second most drying is going to be the alcohol. From there, the least drying is going to be the peel prep solution. When I was in school, I was like, acetone. You absolutely can use acetone on the skin for the for the benefit of lowering the pH of the skin. The deeper the peel that I'm going to use, the lower I need that pH to be. But all this is really doing is stripping the skin of its natural oils.
Could we get chairs?
Yes, go
I
ahead.
think it's gonna take a while.
No, it's not. It's going to take
Oh,
2
it's not?
seconds. Go ahead, though. You can get one. I got a re-glove.
Yes, I'm sitting by your feet, so if you feel anything, that's me.
I'm about to burn her face off, so I don't think she's worried. She's like, I don't care about you, my face. It's the Lord. No, we'll barely feel anything. So in this case, I'm gonna do each one of the solutions in a different place on the skin so that you can feel the difference. In order to apply the neutralized solution, you can use a 4x4 cotton round, something that allows you to actually push it into the skin. So the place that's the most oily is the T-zone. So I'm gonna use it there first. If y'all wanna feel the T-zone, so you can feel how it feels before, and then after I apply the acetone. Yeah. Put your dirty hands right on her face. All right, take an opportunity to feel the forehead, feel the nose. Mhm. Mhm. Feel the oiliness, not too much, but you've got some oiliness there.
Got you, Yasmin. Thank you.
Okay.
My hands all rough, right? Sorry.
That's how my hands feel. So I've applied the acetone. It's pretty saturated. It's not overly dripping, but it's pretty saturated. I just like to hold the skin taut and then push that product in.
And that was acid.
This one is acetone, which is melting my glove.
Would you like more gloves?
Yes. This one is like destroying it.
That's crazy. I didn't know you could use acetone.
Only for specific reasons. Burning?
Mistakes.
Oh, sorry.
I just inhaled too much.
Thank you. Okay, feel the same areas now. Oil is our body's natural defense system, right? People, I hate oil, I'm oily. The more oiliness in your skin, the younger you will look, because oil,
Extremely oily face.
oily
That
is your
means you won't
friend.
get wrinkles later.
You
as
won't get
much.
wrinkles, you won't be looking
Better
like,
not.
exactly. You're gonna be young forever, and people who don't have that oil are not gonna, they're not gonna show aging the same, because that oil protects us. With the chemical peel, controlled trauma, this is doing is taking that oil out of the face or out of that area so that the acid penetrates deeper and more effectively. It doesn't make it better, it just assists the chemical peel in doing its job. So you want to use something like this. Again, acetone is going to give you the strongest effect, and then we'll go with alcohol. It's just isopropyl alcohol. Cheeks with the alcohol. This also smells. Again, holding that skin taut and really pushing it in. I want this to penetrate into those follicles. I'm not gentle. I'm not like holding that skin taut, pushing it in. goal of this is to get underneath the skin, into the skin, not sit on top of it. I know that smells too, sorry. And then I'm gonna do the last one while that one is doing its thing, which is just going to be the peel prep, the lightest of them. Okay, and we'll let that dry, and now you can feel the different areas and see how each one of them feel. The chin's still a little wet, but go ahead and start. See how that oil is now missing? A lot drier, a lot tighter. Her skin probably feels like that. That's what we want. From there, we get to do the actual applying. So we're going to do an application of each layer differently. So we're gonna do 2, maybe 3 layers, but the first layer, we're going to use the brush, lightest application technique, because we can't do that push with the brush. So we're gonna use this one first. We're gonna time it for 60 seconds to 2 minutes. Our second layer, we're gonna use the 4x4 or cotton round. In this case, we're gonna use the 4x4 because we don't want that lint from the cotton round. And then if we need a third pass, we're gonna go in again with the same 4x4 and really push it in. So eyes covered. While I'm covering the eyes and kind of waiting for my clock to reset, so it's 1:22, I wanna get the peel on by 1:23, so I'm gonna start pulling it out. If I can, but what I would be doing in this time while I'm prepping the peel is just letting the client know that we're gonna work on a number system. 0 means no sensitivity at all. You don't feel it. It's not bothering you. 10 means great balls of fire. If there are 10, immediate remove. If there are 8, immediate remove. 7, immediate remove. 6, we can play it by ear. 0 to 2 is what we expect at first application. This should gradually increase. It should not jump onto the skin. It should start as a 5. Thin, even layers. Everywhere. And it's exactly 1:23. Once we've got that first layer on, we're going to ask our client what's her number. Number 0 is no sensation. 10 is great balls of fire. What's your number?
0.
Perfect.
So you're saying like as it goes on, it'll increase?
That number should go up.
Now it's getting deeper into the skin, so then you're gonna feel more of that sensation that you'll get.
And these
No
are
other
very light. So if she gets to a 1 or 2, that would be what's expected. Okay, so it's been just about that first minute. What's your number?
0.
Perfect. We'll leave this on until 1:25. That'll be 2 minutes. Then we'll go in with another pass with the 4x4 for 2 minutes. Gradually checking that number. As long as she's not higher than 7, take our time. We are going to remove with 4x4s. We don't want to use those dirty sponges and dirty water. So I do like to have the squeeze bottle and 4x4s. In this case, you might need to grab some extra tools for your box because you're going to want more than one 4x4. You're going to want more of these tools just to make sure. You also, I like to keep something like this with like room temperature or even cold water, because if they do get up to that 7, that's going to soothe them fairly easily. When we learned chemical peels, we would keep a bucket of ice water just in case. But we were using much deeper peels right in school. So it really just depends on the peel you're using. Okay, it's 1:25. What's your number?
I'll say 0.
0. Perfect. And we'll go in with our second layer. But this time, we're going to actually push that product into the skin.
Are these chemical peels self-neutralizing?
They are not, they come with a neutralizing solution. Difference between self-neutralizing and not self-neutralizing is the action stops itself over time versus not self-neutralizing, the action does not stop itself. The action meaning the actual desquamation of the skin cells, the eating of those skin cells, right? That's what the chemical peel is doing. Eating away at the top layer of the skin, penetrating into the epidermis. It's really not deep enough to go into the dermis, but penetrating into the epidermis. So self-neutralizing, you don't have to actually take it off, or you can take it off with just water. Not self-neutralizing like the peels we have here has to be taken off with the neutralizer. Otherwise, that sensation will cause a chemical burn. What's your number?
0.
126. We'll keep going to 128. Be just fine. Just doing that third layer in a different direction. So typically I want that way for that first and second pass. This time I'm gonna go this way, trying to make sure that I get every area of the skin. And 27, what's your number?
0.
And now I'm just using what's left. Until the water won't leak again. Getting that little extra on her nose where she needs those extractions. And then we wait. We're gonna remove at 130. 7 minutes total, start at 123. Sure. You will not add steam or anything like that to these. There are some acids that you can add steam. There's enzymes where you can add steam. Really just depends on the manufacturer. For these, you're not going to add steam. Two minutes. What's your number?
Still 0.
Perfect. And we have the glycolic and the lactic. We use the glycolic on her. You typically can do a glycolic peel depending on the percentage. This is a very light to medium pill. So you can do this once a week for 6 weeks. And then from there, probably once a quarter. The deeper the peel, the less often you would do it. Typically, there's peels that you can get once a year. Those are done typically with a physician. And then there are other peels like this one, once every 6 weeks as this part of a treatment plan to correct something. And then from there, once a quarter. And there are some that you would do once a quarter or twice a year. Really just depends on the acid and things like that. So of our three, the lactic, the glycolic, and the cherry is the strongest of the peels. That's because it's a combination of peels and it has enzymes as well. So it's typically the one that people get the sensation with, but it really depends on the skin type and the skin condition. Some people, this would be a 3 or 4. Some people 0, 1. Really just depends on the client's skin. So don't take, oh, she didn't feel it, so I can go all in on the next person. You have to temper this treatment. It's not like any other facial where it's like, oh, I know the gel mask thing, so I'm just gonna put it right on. No, it really just depends on the person. 1 layer, get the number. 2nd layer, get the number. 3rd layer, if you need it, get the number, and then it's gonna determine how long you can keep it on. 2 to 3 minutes to be safe. If it's your first time, 2 to 3 minutes in a week, you can do it again. If you have done it before or the client has 0 sensation, I would say 3 to 6, 3 to 7. From there, you want to go in, you can go all the way up to 10 total. It's 1:30. We're going to saturate a cotton round first with the neutralizing solution. We could use the 4x4, but I want to use that with water. So I'm going to go in and just start neutralizing it. If she had any sensation, that would immediately stop it. Relax. You see how she does this? You don't need help. You can get in there. You just need to be comfortable touching the client's face. If you're, it really just depends on your business, your brand, what it is you're trying to accomplish. My thing was always relaxation. Don't help me. I don't want you to think about squeezing your face. I just want you to lay there and go to sleep so that you can wake up, relax, and be grateful that you got a service. If you're doing like straight up treatments day in and day out, then that's another thing, but it really just depends on this water, what your goal is. But you just want to be in control of that stuff, because a lot of times people think they need a help and you really don't. You have control over where everything is going. So she's got very little redness, not too much. It was obviously not too strong for her. Do you have any sensation at all?
No.
Perfect. Even though her skin didn't respond like where it was higher than that 0, you know the product still did what it was supposed to do. So with that being said, that's going to expose her to photosynthesis. What is it? Not photosynthesis. Photosensitivity, so that if she was to go out in the sun right now, the sun can do a lot of damage to her skin, because it is definitely very vulnerable. We just traumatized it with that acid. So you want to make sure that if you stopped here, the only thing that would go on the skin from here would be an SPF. They would not touch their skin tonight. Tomorrow they will go back to their regular routine, sans exfoliation. After chemical peel, I wouldn't have them do an exfoliation for at least a week, depending on the chemical peel, up to 21 days. Feel her skin now? There's absolutely no texture. Other than the raised lesions, no texture at all. From there, I could SPF, send her home, very light peel. So I'm gonna go ahead and go in with the remainder of the facial. Skipping the massage, I am gonna do the extraction. So I'm gonna extract right around that nose area. For whatever didn't come up, being very gentle. So these are blackheads and little hairs. Have you always had those?
Mhm. Yeah, some of them are hair.
I got as many of the little hairs as I could. They're mostly hairs though. And slightly. You notice extractions are much easier after. Okay. And from there, we'll go into our mask. Just making sure, still no sensation.
Nope.
Perfect. So we can go into the mask. If we needed to, we could easily go back in, wipe again with the neutralizer or the water. Do we only have one brush in here? Oh, no, I see. So in the case of a chemical peel, you're definitely gonna wanna use the second brush and just dampen it for the mask. If you use the first one for the acid, you don't wanna run the risk of there still being acid on the brush. At this point, light can stay off for the remainder. I'm gonna let her know this is gonna be on the chillier side and she should feel some sensation, especially with the gel mask. One more cotton round. We're gonna use it for our toner. Everything up there is fine. Again, at this point, I probably wouldn't use a hot towel. I will go in and remove this with 4x4s or sponges. Your skin feels way different. Like way different.
Yeah, they like some like smooth and really clean. Her skin is really good and it just looks like so.
And that's with no, oh, I didn't feel any sensation. Chemical, the misconception about chemical peels is if you don't look like a crazy person for a week after, that it wasn't effective. That's not how it works. This body is smart. I don't have to be aggressive in everything I do. Like a lot of this is really just feeling and getting to know the skin and why it functions the way that it functions. What's missing for her and how we can resolve that issue. She had a little bit of patches of dryness, little texture. That's all she needed. Now, if we were trying to correct pigmentation, that's a different story. We need to do something different, especially like the chair would be better for pigmentation. But just an overall refresh, a light medium peel incorporated into the facial is all that she needs. I can already tell you this is too much. You see how it's like white? Right onto the towel. All right, we're done. I've already cleaned up all my stuff's ready to go. Talk to her about her skin feels, let her know about proper aftercare, what the expectation is, have her, make sure her hands are clean, have her feel it, what she needs to do next, and from there, she's good to go, but you can definitely see a difference. Just like texture and
Oh, yeah.
overall, that's all she needed. You don't have to do so much. This is not an aggressive game. You're not a bull in a china shop when you're
Can
doing
I feel
facials.
it after?
Go ahead.
Okay, so.
Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't know that you were. Yes.
Asking her.